Back, ladies and gentlemen.
Sorry, that's embarrassing.
I got your first set.
All right, everyone, we are back finally. We apologize for the delay. Technical difficulty took our stream down, it seems, but we are back, and the game has just resumed play. So we've only missed about 3 points. Nothing really defensively has occurred. Just a couple of serves and a couple of good old 1-2-3 putaways. But Double Clutch at the moment, they sit up 15-13 right now.
We'll get the check because
7-4.
17-14.
All right.
Excuse me. Yep. Just make sure we have that confirmation. So we had one mistake from Kingdom Come that gave Double Clutch that advantage. We've seen some defensive ups, but a lot of missed break opportunities.
Yeah, and the big thing is going to be, especially for Kingdom Come, who are, like we've said, the underdogs, and right now they're down 3 points, 2 points now. They need to capitalize on every single one of those opportunities. They cannot let a single opportunity slip away, or maybe if you do, you got to get it back right after, because if you don't, Double Clutch, they're going to ace you. They are going to make sure that they play defense better than you, and they're going to play a simply better game. It's all about how Kingdom Come can turn the serving pressure into some defensive breaks right there. That's an example of an opportunity where they could have gotten to that ball.
They're just a little out of sync. I mean, that's also just the hitting of Double Clutch. They're happy to put them in that position, but they need to convert on these. Double Clutch isn't converting themselves, but they have a little more of the serving breaks, and that's allowed them to grow this lead.
Murthy now faking back and forth, but nearly catches Matt Cole. He's fine, but now a defensive up. Rahul, big swing and over Cole's head. A great break there coming in from Double Clutch.
That is the textbook Double Clutch that we have seen time and time again over the past 2 seasons. I love Murthy's ability to just turn his body and make that a caress or just a beautiful body up. And the setback from Hinkle, that's textbook Double Clutch defense.
Great swing.
I mean, it all starts with a great serve.
Yeah.
Every point starts with a serve, and if you can force that receiver to have a tough time with it, you force that ball to leave their hand awkwardly, it's a domino effect. It affects the quality of the set, which affects the quality of the hit, which enables the defense to perform.
It all works together.
Backhand there from Hinkle, and even though it pops off Matt Cole's body, it will not get put up towards his teammates.
Just once again, Matt Cole saying, I would like it to go up. Needs to maybe get a little lower, get a little backwards, and just pop that up, because opposite way of your partner is not where you want it to go.
Off the left hand of Matt Cole, but then he repositions nicely. Good footwork to work around the 1.5-foot area outside the rim, the no-hit zone that he nimbly adjusted to and put that ball away with his right hand in a bit of a dive.
Yeah, challenge to see on the camera here, but yes, there is a 1.5-foot circle around the net that these players cannot set in or step in while they are hitting. So especially with sets like that, they're a little far away. You have to get very creative with your footwork. Often a lot of dives, so we'll probably see at some point as they try to avoid the no-hit zone.
Yeah, the idea is it makes that offensive touch, it makes that final hit a little bit tougher, enables the defense to get in the right position. Let's see if Kingdom Come can do it here. Not quite. A good swing from Rahul Murthy that sneaks the ball outside of Grant Clapp's reach. And with that, game 1 of this first semifinal has concluded. Double Clutch starting things off with a good one. Kingdom Come, they had their opportunities, Mike, but as we said, they just
breaks. Kingdom Come had a couple serving breaks, but that's it. So Kingdom Come, they're getting more touches than Double Clutch, but they're not getting back to the net at all. They're not even getting returned by Double Clutch. They're just not getting back to the net.
Right, and we're seeing, a contrasting defensive kind of approach to this game, right? We've seen double clutch work with, one player going for the body. That's generally Rahul Murthy, as we've seen. And Frederick Hinkle, he's usually running out in the background trying to get that long ball. He's gotten to a few of those long balls, even though we've seen Kingdom Come work with a variety of different hitting types, right? That push shot that's trying to sneak away from the player on the body. We've seen that pull a couple times. Frederick Hinkle has been there on several occasions, but for both teams, a couple of those opportunities, right, haven't quite delivered. I haven't quite found the net, right? Maybe the set from Murthy when Hinkle's working his way back to the net hasn't been perfect, but because their serving pressure was a little bit stronger and they got a couple of breaks, it wasn't their defense that needed to shine. The pressure for the defense was put on Kingdom Come, and they just could not quite step up to that level.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about the key for Kingdom Come is they need to put those back on because they had 7 or 8 defensive touches. If they just get half of those on, they're winning that game.
Right.
And I think looking back, these teams have played once before, a few months ago in Richmond, and the scores were 21-18, 21-16. So they have not pushed them any closer. That's the closest Kingdom Come has gotten. So I think we need to see what level Kingdom Come has now. They were so zoned in yesterday,
right.
I think just early morning here, maybe not there.
I mean, it's early morning, but it's also double clutch. I mean,
Yes,
keep that in mind.
I
They didn't
know.
run into double clutch at all yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Through bracket, finally working their way to the semis. This is where their biggest test has been so far. And they're the underdogs for a reason. They're not expected to win this unless they're playing absolutely fantastic, right? And unless they're able to expose those gaps in that double clutch strategy. But like we said, we saw a couple of hints that they could get it done. We just have to see it all combine into a perfect storm for Kingdom Come, where they can chain it all together and find that success. Like you said, defensive touches have happened. We've seen a couple of good body attempts from Kingdom Come. That ball has popped up, and it has been, gettable to some degree. We just have to see the minute adjustment, right? Get that ball slightly closer to your teammate off the body and just maybe dive 1 inch further to get that ball back to your teammate. That is the gap between these two teams. It is so small.
And it's I don't have words because it's just that's what it is. It's such a fine-tuned game, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. And they're taking the field now, getting ready for game 2. And double clutch served last time, so we're going to probably see Kingdom Come serve this time. I would have expected to be in the hands of Grant Clapwick.
Yeah, I would imagine that if they're choosing who serves, it's going to be Grant Clapp. He has had a bit more power and a bit more success on the serve. We saw about 1 ace from him, I think it was, on the other side of the net. I believe 2 aces, one from Rahul Murthy and one from Frederick Hinkle, respectively. They each got 1 in. Matt Cole was able to, apply a good bit of pressure. He just wasn't able to get any breaks off of that serving pressure. So it's just about keeping that ball low, keeping it fast, just making sure that receiver has just a little bit of difficulty getting that ball to their teammate.
I love
I'm just an idiot.
I'm so impressed. I feel like I'm so impressed with Clapwick's ability to keep it low, and same as Matt Cole. That is a must against this team. So if they can come out, hit a little more consistent serves, they'll be looking good.
Well, we are diving in now to game 2 as our players seem ready to go. And it turns out that Frederick Hinkle will once again be opening things up. It's very possible that Frederick Hinkle chose to serve in that first game, and now we're going to see Kingdom Come choosing to give the ball to their opponents. It's definitely possible. That hit from Matt Cole, a little bit awkward off the net, as it took an awkward trajectory off of it, but must have caught a pocket because Hinkle and Murthy seem to agree that the hit was clean.
Yeah, that looked really weird to me. I think the note there is that Hinkle was in the direct spot for that, unless it had that weird, you could say, tactical hit from Cole, that Hinkle was eating that up, which is a little scary for Kingdom Come in the first point of the game. But nevertheless, it did go their way, and Clapwick, like we expected, first to serve for Kingdom Come.
Not the best set in the world from Hinkle, but what it does is give Murthy pretty much one massive opportunity to just find the gap. It was as if Hinkle read the gap himself as the setter, saw where he should put it for his teammate, and delivered the strike.
Easy double clutch. The most experience as partners as any of the teams here, so they know how to work together and to put together points that maybe they are not look the easiest for other teams.
Drop attempt from Murthy, and the on-2 from Matt Cole is ill-advised because as that ball popped off the net, it ran into his teammate. So that point will go the way of Double Clutch, and Double Clutch will get a serving break off a mediocre drop.
Yeah, that's the risk there. And the rule is, of course, you cannot hit yourself or your partner.
Big defensive play from Hinkle,
shut me
a
up.
diving effort all the way to get that ball off his body, and getting that one right to Murthy in the nick of time.
That is, again, textbook Double Clutch. A little different with the soft touch, not as common, but Hinkle, he is one of the best distance setters. It's probably the best diving setter in the game, so hell of a start for Double Clutch
That's
here.
the beauty of that soft touch rule as well. The soft touch, when you get the ability to actually hit that ball a second time, as long as that ball was on its upward trajectory when you initially made contact. Body defense is a perfect example. It popped off the knee of Hinkle, it looked like, going over his head. He had the opportunity to then get that ball back to his teammate, which he did. It does count, of course, as 2 hits, so Murthy had to put that one back into the net. But as we saw, he did that beautifully, and Double Clutch will take the point. Can't get the next one done, as we will see a double fault from Murthy. So now the ball will go back to Kingdom Come's hands.
2 to 3. Yes, first serve. Good swing, Matt. Here we go.
This is what Matt Cole talked about, though. Keeping those serves low will be a key to his pressure. That one was low, but it was 1 a drop and 2 off the rim.
He didn't like that attempt. I like mixing it up, forcing them. Double Clutch is one of the best defenders of the drop, but it is such a good option just to mix in there, keep them guessing.
They're great at defending the drop, namely because of their excellent footwork. They pride themselves on that footwork and, well, on the serving pressure as well, as we've talked about. That serving pressure of Frederick Hinkle on full display as he hits a crazy low cut spinning away from Matt Cole. He did not have a chance to get that ball back.
Yeah, just so
No touches.
fast.
Wow.
Yeah, no touch ace. Unexpected. I think Matt Cole, he reached for that. I think he's going to be upset about his footwork there because
were
he
just
did not-
talking about it.
He did not move. He just reached.
Yeah, with serves these days, with the spin that they have on the ball, with the movement that that ball has, you can't just stand still and reach out. You need to be moving, not just a couple of feet. You need to be moving a couple of yards across the field to get that ball.
Yeah, especially against the server we have right here, Klopwick, the reach he can get.
He'll go with that powerful left, but right now just not finding that net.
Let's go, Graham. Playing game. 3-5. Yes. Second serve.
Goes for drop the second time, and it's just not clicking. Kingdom Come. They got to find their stride soon because they're down 3 points, and this is game 2. It's do or die.
Yeah, I'm surprised the 0 for 2 on the drops. Maybe just getting a little bit desperate, a little flustered with this early deficit. There's a side pocket called there. Probably maybe looked good from over here, but quick call from Matt Cole facing another one.
Nope. Good looks. Sweet. I got the ball. Let's go.
Love that we can hear the players and hear the encouragement that Frederick Hinkle gives to Rahul Murthy so often. A lot of just small comments here of, give me a set, or I've got you, or good swing, good rip, all of that. Frederick Hinkle this time, more than words of encouragement he needed, though. He needed to make an incredible athletic play, the diving effort. He got to the ball, but actually hit it too far.
Yep, and that comes from Matt Cole getting an ace or a serving break, whatever you would like to call it, which is exactly the key. And another great serve there.
Yeah, there it is again. A boom ball attempt from Hinkle, but Matt Cole with the defense. Hinkle thinks that ball clipped the rim, and it looks like the observers agree.
Wow, let's pretend it didn't for a second.
I mean,
that was just
I'd like to. I'd like to.
just what a play. And this is actually the first instance we're really seeing of that body D working. Matt Cole, again, using that soft touch, getting it up to his partner with this second hit. Note that Matt Cole cannot hit it on there. He has to set it to his partner with his second hit. But I like the Kingdom Comes getting closer. And just like that, they get a little farther away.
Yeah, getting closer, but I'm not loving the energy there we just saw from Matt Cole, right? A poor serve received. That ball, just below the shoulder, hit his hand and popped way up above his head. And even though Grant Clapp made the diving effort, Matt Cole had already given up on it. There's another mistake from Matt Cole, as the set behind his shoulder is just not the right direction. Gives Clapp a tough time to get that ball back towards the net, and not surprisingly, he couldn't.
They look a little frustrated. Double clutch just, and Frederick Hinkle specifically, just in action, in his movement, getting a pair of aces and moving very quickly through. But yeah, the body language of Kingdom Come just has dropped huge in those last couple points. Matt Cole specifically looks very frustrated.
I mean, that serve for Frederick Hinkle, too. That second serve was damn near close
Yeah.
being an ace. I thought for a second he was going to protest the high call, but he agrees. So Kingdom Come will get the ball.
I love that. Grand Club, I think they just know, especially given last game, only 3 breaks, this deficit makes them not feel great. That one is high, going to go to observers, and it is high. So another one, not the way of Kingdom Come.
And round net, the role of the observers, they won't make most calls actively. They won't interrupt play to make a ruling, but if the players disagree, they will ask an observer who had the best angle what their call is, and in this case, the observer on the left there who had the best angle of how high that ball was said, yes, indeed, that ball was high. Kingdom Come now, trying to get something going, but just not clicking because the defense is there for double clutch. How did that ball get back on the net? Was that a knee onto the net and then double clutch just had to play it?
I think it was an on-one.
Was he though?
He was in the no-hit zone, so, but I think that was a miss. Yeah. So let's look here. So he was in the no-hit zone, so that